Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. And it is Sunday, and we are so happy to be here with you. I should also say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always try to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. If I share the link and your profile looks like this, especially if I've never seen you on here before, please show me this. Then you can go back to that. If you are not comfortable, just know that I absolutely must see your face, because sometimes people like to play games and all that other stuff. Also, in the comment section, it's not that we disagree, it's how we disagree. So let's be as respectful as possible. Also, for the same thing here on the panel, also like to say a big giant thank you to my super dope moderators, as you all hold the comment section down. I love and appreciate you, and I could not and would not do this without you. Also, we are going to be talking about Black Democrats will never work on behalf of Black Americans, and I think you guys kind of already know that. It's like, duh, right? But I want to get a little bit deeper into it, as you guys may or may not heard that Governor Wes Moore of Maryland has decided that he was going to veto a reparations study bill that came before him. And should also know that he is the only Black governor in the United States of America. He is one of 3 Black governors, and he decided to do some very un-Black things. Now, I know I've heard a lot about, and I did look that he has Jamaican and Cuban blood, if you will. His mom was Jamaican and Cuban. So, of course, you're hearing a lot of people talk along those lines. That's why he's probably not too much tied to the struggle of Black America. Perhaps he wasn't taught that, because his father died when he was very, 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 very young, like a baby, I think it was. So clearly, I would say I don't know him very much. He was probably raised with that ideology. So we're going to get into all of that and the why he said he vetoed the bill. And of course, we're going to draw that together with what happened in California with the California Legislative Black Caucus. Not even taking the reparations bills to the Gavin Newsom at all, the governor of California. They decided they weren't going to do that. So anyway, we're going to get into it. Who came on here before I give it to Donovan? It's Edgy. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Candy, what's going on with you? Don't Need, how you doing? Alvin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Walt, what's going on? Freddie B, nice to see you. My Triple OG moderator, how you doing? Mike, nice with all the beautiful slogans. Hope you're doing well. Brother Reggie, what is going? Yes, Van Glorious. Oh, it's morning. Okay, so good morning to you in Japan there. Rafo, how you doing? Hope I said that right.
Yeah, that term is Ohio gozamasta.
Oh, okay.
In Japan, Ohio gozamasta.
Yeah, that. Maria, how you doing? Diane, hope you're doing well. In daily sports, news, and media, what's going on with you, Donovan?
Fellas, 6 days counting down. Demetra K in Columbus, Ohio, live. You guys will get to see her in all her vanglorious presence as she drops knowledge and, represents her father very, very well as she goes to the Black Expo in Columbus, Ohio. So if you guys are there, go up, introduce yourself, say hi, buy her a cup of coffee, however you guys want to do it. Philip Scott, Vicki Dillard, of course, New Orleans native Tidra Moses will be there performing, as well as from Flowetry, Marsha Ambrosia. Going to be a great outing, I think, this year, which is going to be awesome. So again, African Diaspora News Channel, 24th of May in Columbus, Ohio. Do us a favor. We got a scrolling banner at the bottom. If you guys want to keep these great conversations going, there's ways you can do it. And it's right down there in that scrolling banner. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Cash, Money Order, however you guys want to do it. Give us your firstborn child. We'll take it all. No problem. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that on Google Play, Apple Store. You guys need to pay attention to what is going on in the African diaspora, because what is going on over there affects us over here and vice versa. You see, Trump has let, under a DEI program, the Afrikaners were allowed to come over here as refugees, and now the Hispanics are saying, well, why can't we come over here? We're refugees too. Do you see how all this stuff works? But like Demetra, like I always tell you guys, don't just come over here just for the good and the plenty. Get all the racism this white man has to offer you. You can't come over here just for the good stuff. You got to get the bad stuff as well. So again, this is going to be interesting. And Demetra, I am not surprised at this black governor. Even though he has Jamaican roots, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He has Jamaican roots. Because you got Negroes that are born here on the soil that don't do nothing for black people either. But I want to hear what you guys got to say.
And hello to everyone that's come on here. Bernice, Marcella, Amber, Brother Steven, how you doing? Tell your wife we said hello. Oops. And you said, what should we be pretending the media did to cover up the huge secret that Joe Biden is in his 80s? Or is this another weird conservative fantasy that doesn't make any sense? I don't know what that is. I did hear about Joe Biden. It sounds like an expose book came out that everybody knew that he wasn't up for the job, and they knew for a very long time, but they were still going along.
Yeah, Jake Tapper, CNN, Jake Tapper, he came out with a book.
They were, and they, went along with the lie, which everybody kind of knew. And it sounds like he also disclosed today, he being Joe Biden, that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So there's a lot going on there. Anyway, by the time 103, how you doing? Long time no see. Shan, what's going on with you? 48 TCO, Brooklyn Ice. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So again, the other day, Governor Wes Moore of Maryland, again, the only black governor in the United States of America, only one of three to be elected ever. From what I understand, he decided that he was going to veto a study. Now, listen, he didn't even want to do the study. It wasn't like they was going to be writing no checks. It was just the study. And I'm going to give you a synopsis. I'm going to put up the letter. I outlined it, but I'm going to give you guys the summary here. So it says Governor Wes Moore vetoed a bill that would have established a commission to study reparations for slavery in Maryland, citing multiple reasons for his decision. It says Governor Moore argued that the time for studies has passed and that the state should focus on implementing tangible solutions to address racial disparities. He stated, now is the time for continued action that delivers results for the people we serve. So y'all can see somewhere in there, he was talking about closing the wealth gap. He's also talking about building up housing and things like that. And he said for entrepreneurs of color. That don't really say black people, right? Of course, we know it's not really talking about black people. All right. So then he also pointed out that numerous studies over the past 3 decades have already examined the impacts of slavery and systemic racism in Maryland. Therefore, he believes resources should be directed toward actionable programs rather than additional studies. And that's what I was just saying, housing, the same old stuff we hear that never, for whatever reason, gets done specifically for Black Americans who are descendants of slavery. All right. Now, it also says in his veto letter, Moore highlighted the financial and staffing burdens that such commissions impose on the state, especially during times of economic strain. He noted that the proliferation of study bills have become a significant fiscal and staff burden on state government. But taking care of migrants and stuff hasn't, right? They got all the money in the world for that. And I don't know if you guys have heard, California is saying, yeah, we're going to have to dial back some of our programs for the immigrants because we're having a $12 billion shortfall, right? Y'all heard that they were trying to spend $2.6 billion for immigrants, but now they're coming to reckon. But I think that's more so with Governor Newsom of California, maybe trying to correct a little bit because he's backing off a lot of things that he was dying on the heel of, like men playing in women's sports and, a whole host of other things. It's like, do tell, future president candidate. Anyway, I digress. All right. Governor Moore emphasized ongoing efforts to support Black communities, including increased funding for historical Black colleges and universities, support for Black-owned businesses and initiatives aimed at reducing the wealth gap, as I just said. Now, the veto has been met with disappointment from members of the Legislative Black Caucus who viewed the bill as a crucial step toward addressing Maryland's history of slavery and systemic racism. The caucus expressed that the veto was a missed opportunity to confront the state's past and its lasting impact on Black Marylanders. Say that 3 times. Now, despite the veto, the bill had passed both legislative chambers with veto-proof majorities, indicating the possibility of a legislative override in future sessions. So I don't really know what all that means, but it sounds like it was more of a go than it was a no. So, of course, I'm going to take this down. And then here, the last paragraph that I highlighted, he talked about the things that they have done. Says Black-owned businesses received more than $816 million in procurement awards, more than double the amount awarded in the previous year. He also issued largest state pardon in our nation's history, pardoning 175,000 Maryland convictions for cannabis weed possessions. And it says a step that will create more pathways to prosperity for Black Marylanders who have disproportionately been impacted by Maryland's inequitable and outdated laws, right? Then he says something like, we've helped nearly 1,500 Black Marylanders pursue home ownership for the first time. 1,500 Black Marylanders. I almost said something I shouldn't be saying on here, but it ended with please. And that's all I'm going to say. But let me take this down. So, of course, it's the same old, oh, well, we did this. We did a drop in the bucket for that. And I don't know if you guys are aware, even though it's an HBCU, historically Black college university, everybody else can go there, right? It's not just for Black people, although it's in the name, but anybody else could go. They're not prohibited from going. So, you know, it wouldn't, I guess, necessarily benefit us. But again, as I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, I know it's been said before, Black Democrats will never work on behalf of Black people, which is why we should stop voting for them, right? Because we know, and he said, because he was asked about it, well, you know, Black Marylanders are going to be mad. And he's like, well, I'm not seeking higher office. I guess higher than where he already is, right? Because, you know, they've been throwing his name out here and there about him running for president. And see, he sounds like he said he's not trying to do that. I guess he likes where he's at.
So wait, let me catch you up real quick. So because he's not seeking higher office, F Black people? That's basically what he's saying.
That's kind of what I took from it. So whatever office he may be seeking, again, you that live in Maryland and all of us from around the United States, just keep in mind that they're going to show up to ask for the Black vote, and especially if they're a Democrat, they cannot get in office without us, but they sure have no problem thumbing their noses at us, telling us what they can and can't do. Again, I want to bring y'all back to California where they did the same thing. Except for there was a Black caucus, white governor, and they just blocked for the governor, so he wouldn't even have to do that. But I guess this particular governor, Wes Moore, is Black, says, you know, I'll do it. I'll do the vetoing and I'll explain it, because Black people are always good. Black people always understand that they're going to get the kick in the tailbone and they're going to be told to get to the back of the line and then show up to vote for everybody else. So I want to see what you guys have to say about that. Donovan?
Ice Cube said it best. I'm glad y'all niggas just shut it off. Because Black people are used to getting it in the keister with no Vaseline. That is an exact song and that's basically what this guy is saying. You know, he's just saying, it don't matter. Yeah, I'm Black, but I got mine. My family's good. My friends are good. We're Boule. We're good. You guys need to understand what the Boule is about. Who else is the Boule? Sean Diddy Combs. He's a Boule member, went to Howard and all that other great stuff. It seems like all these Boule members, when they are held to task to what they're supposed to do for every Black person, they seem to have all these doggone excuses. They seem to be, oh, well, you know, that no, not me, but they want to, I went to Howard, I went to Spelman, I did this, I did that. But when it comes to show and improve, they don't want to show and prove. Now, I have been studying the Boule. And so far, what I found out about the Boule is it is a Black organization that has been set up by white supremacy to be the gatekeepers. Their job is to keep you in place. You might see Black faces in high places, but that doesn't mean you're going to get anything. And that's their job, to say, look, Black excellence, why we do nothing for you. I mean, Demetra, you said this years ago. I've been saying it. Brother Phil Scott has been saying it. The one good thing about the new Black media is we have been consistent. And it's not the fact that we will never get it, we just gave up. We're going to get our reparations one day. We just got to wake people up. Some people, like Demetra, she can sleep all day. Stay up on a plane for 16 hours on the way to South Africa. Then she gets to Africa and wants to sleep for a whole day. I'm like, let's go out the door. Let's go out the door. But some people sleep longer than others. So our job in the New Black Media is to keep waking people up, because what it is, the more, and they're kind of showing it right now. And you hit it perfectly, Demetra. Democrats cannot win elections without the black vote. It is just now coming out in the books and everything. It wasn't misogyny that cost Kamala Harris the election. She lost the black vote. That's what cost it. And now, now they want to say it after the fact. Don't want to give us any credit during. It's always after the fact. But we've got to wake people up, and you guys got to continue to wake people up, because again, prescription drug prices, Democrats, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Trump wants to lower prescription drug prices and make it affordable in basic, whatever the deal is. The Democrats are against it. Do you guys see the games that are being played by both of these parties? Why would the Democrats be against prescription drugs that could help people get their insulin and all this other stuff that they need to do to live? They don't care. And this is where we're at. And this black mayor, and I got a good friend of mine, good brother of mine that lives right there in Maryland. And I'm going to tell you guys why I continue to do this. I don't want people to think like me. I don't want people to, jump on the bandwagon, because a lot of people do that. I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, win, lose, or draw. Diehard Lakers fan, win, lose, or draw. Dodgers fan, win, lose, or draw. Because when they win from where they've been, it's been 30 years since the Cowboys won a championship. We're due. And when they win, I'm going to celebrate. But we got a lot of bandwagon fans, right? We got a LeBron James that had been in LA for 8 years and got a bubble championship, but yet could seem to go to these super teams and win championships. And then you give him everything he wants here. In the West, he doesn't seem to win. But anyway, my point is this. Slowly but surely, as time goes on, people are seeing both of these parties are not for us. The one power that we do have is the power of one man, one woman, one vote. That's what we do have. And as long as we have that, we've got our leverage. So, we've got to vet these people. How many of you guys have been going to my page and watching me go to my city council and giving them the business? City manager called me, took care of the problem because I identified it as a watchdog. Meeting's coming up this Tuesday. Be on the lookout for that video, because I'm going to let them have it again. And this is what we're talking about, waking people up. Black people, we need to show up at the city council meeting, the supervisor meeting, the county meetings, and let our voices be heard. But I'm not surprised that this tether black man isn't doing anything for black people, because we've got people from the soil that don't do nothing for black people. But I want to hear what you guys got to say.
Absolutely. Hey, Thunder, how you doing? It says, are the Dems so dead set against doing for black Americans? They will try. Will they try and reach out and campaign for the votes of the South African immigrants in our faces? Well, it's not even that many of them here right now. It's only 49 of them here. So I don't know how much of a vote that they would get. I don't know if they're going to become citizens or they just have refugee status. It's not enough to make a dent. And something tells us they won't be voting for no Democrat, because it wasn't no Democrat that brought them over here, right? So, yeah. Let me go back to a comment that I saw. This one. Dave, how you doing? Says, is Ayanna Pressley reparations proposal or HR 40 going against Democrat playbook? Yeah. You notice that they're not even talking about the study anymore. She's talking about the check, right? I think it was $3 trillion she proposed, her and Summer Lee. And it's like, if y'all don't get on out of here, because y'all remember a couple months ago, not even that long ago, they were talking about, she says, well, I'm taking up the banner, if you will, from Sheila Jackson Lee, who took it from John Conyers, and they were going to talk about the study again, but they must have heard the backlash, and people's like, we don't believe you, okay? So now They put a dollar sign on it and, write the check. And it's like, girl, if you don't stop, doggone well, Trump and them ain't trying to write no reparations check again. It's more conversation to try to keep Black people more involved. It's that carrot in front of us. Oh, now that, the Democrats are talking about it. But, again, they're talking about helping us, but they're actually doing stuff for like the migrants, getting arrested at the detention centers and going over to El Salvador and all kind of stuff. But us, they just want to talk to us, but we ain't listening no more.
Well, the funny thing about that, Demetra, notice they only propose things like reparations and stuff when they're not in power and they know it can't pass. Why didn't they bring this up during the Biden administration? If they really wanted to do something, if they really wanted everybody to have universal health care, why didn't they propose that under the Biden administration when they had the House and the Senate and the presidency? Now they don't have any of that, and all of a sudden they're beating their chest about reparations for Black people, this and what they gonna do, If you get us back in office, this is what we gonna do. How many times are we gonna fall for this? Have you guys noticed that? They only propose the things that the American people want and need when they are out of power.
Lily Mission Visions, how you doing? And K Mackey says Chicago, Illinois is going to turn red. Yeah, I've actually been seeing a lot more conversation on it. I think they came, really close, right? Silent Rage. He says that's what y'all voted for. I don't know who this y'all is, but anyway, Lizzie, how you doing? Says I don't believe Democrats are even serious about reparations. It's a great talking point for them, though. Yeah, it's all it is. It's the carrot. It's the carrot to keep Black people salivating, like, oh, you mean you're gonna do something for me? And it's like Donovan said, if you really wanted to, you had the House, the Senate, and the presidency just recently. When Biden was in office, and y'all didn't utter a peep about reparations. So and let's see here. Fat Son, how you doing? He says you driving. Okay, well, be careful out there. 48 TCO says never trust the big butt and the bald head. You know what? You ain't right. Don't you be talking about that lady. You ain't talking about Donovan. MC Facts says, Demetra, I like that part. And natural ways in your hair. Oh, thank you. It's just too high for afro, anything else. So yeah, I gotta do what I gotta do. Thank you. Let's see who else came on here. And Brother Reddy says, Ayanna Presley, the super villain. All she's missing is listen, you will not desecrate MF Doom like that, okay? No, you won't. R.I.P. to him. Anyway, Carrie says they had the chance and did nothing. You right about that? Let's see. Allie says 160 since we were promised a check. Field order 15. The ancestors, don't forget, their children and great-great-grandchildren are old. Yes. Sister Marcella says, have you noticed that some white people are coming out saying they are Black? Well, yeah. Are you talking about the ginger movement that's going on TikTok, where some Black people who are a little bit on the silly side are saying that the redhead white people are the Black people of white people and they can come to the picnic, I guess. I don't know. Tommy, how you doing? And Terry, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tammy, rather. You says, why do Black people feel the need to get something for nothing they ever experienced? Well, I'm not going to keep on talking to y'all about that.
They're building this country is nothing.
It's a futile effort at this point. They know damn well. And listen, I try to preserve my voice for things that matter. I'm just not going to keep talking to them people, okay? In fact, I'm going to just be blocking from now on, coming on here asking silliness, okay? Don't insult my intelligence. Jacoby, how you doing? Says, I'm not buying that crap. They're selling wolf tickets always. AMPDM1, how you doing? Says, with Obama, they had 12 years to get it done. Yeah. But they use that excuse. Congress was blocking them. It's like, nah.
Yeah, we don't have enough Democrats. We need you guys to vote for more Democrats, then we can get it done. Didn't Joe Biden say when he ran in 2020, if you get me the Senate and that big voting that was going on in Georgia, that would have determined if he controlled the Senate? And it was delivered to him, and he said, I'll get you a federal police commission on policing and all this other stuff, and we didn't get jack.
Mr. Mack, I thought you had climbed under a damn rock somewhere. Why does Demetra still hate on Democrats when Trump is in office destroying America?
Wait, he can destroy America in less than 4 or 5 months?
I mean, like I said,
22 million illegal people in this country and terrorists in some of them, and Trump is destroying the country.
Well, I think there's some truth to that. I think that this country is already destroyed, but if you know, and somebody made reference to the weather. There's been a lot of funky weather going on. I mean, it's been going on, but we're seeing a lot of it, right? That has gone on, or whatever the case is. But the country's been destroyed, and if you know, like I said. But as far as hating the Democrats, I mean, argue with your mama, not me, Mr. Mack. Stormy weather, how you doing? Says I'm not depending on them, and the others who are with them. Okay. Valerie, how you doing? Says they got to do what Master tell them to do. That is true. Yes, Mike, we're going to set it off Sunday. Yes, indeed. M, how you doing? It says, dear Black people, we need to form our own permanent interest party. I think that's what that says. The hashtag, it says reparations, FBA, Foundation of Black American Freedmen. Yes, indeed. We do need our own party. Jeanette, he says he's not like us. He's Jamaican immigrant. So he's actually not an immigrant. His mom is. So he's born here, but his mother is Cuban and Jamaican. Not sure what his dad is, but his father died when he was a baby. Something happened to him. It sounded like he choked to death or something. But yeah, so if that can clear that up. Brother Don, he says, understand our national Black leaders are groomed over years before they are presented. Come on now to us. They do the same with the leaders on the continent. They are selected and groomed as teenagers to rule. Yep. And if you, like I said, you think about it and listen to them, they all like sound just alike. You would think that they all sound like Obama, but then I'm sure Obama sounds like somebody else. So you're absolutely right, Brother Don. Let's see who else. Perry Gibson, how you doing? Says so sick of non-FBA sabotaging. Yeah, but as he just said, they're put in position to do that. Brother Reddy says ginger movement, huh? Everybody want to be Black until the police show up. You ain't lying. Then they scatter like roaches, right? Yes, Stormy Weather. I'm not gonna waste my energy at all. Eric Jackson, how you doing? You says Governor Lesser, okay, and CNG. He says they had the House and the Senate. Yeah, but they know a lot of people just won't research because unfortunately they are the appeal to authority. And a lot of people, when I say they, the Boule, the Democrats, interchangeable probably. Anybody who seems to be an authority figure, your Roland Martins. He can say whatever, yeah, and people, our people will say, well, Roland Martin said it. It must be true. But it's like, is it? Because Roland Martin, like I said, don't ever underestimate Roland. He's very smart. He's very crafted and skilled at what he does. And that is keeping Black people asleep and sleepwalking and believing that the Democrat is the ultimate savior, but will never tell them to think about what has the Democrat ever done to further the agenda of Black people in a positive way. He'll never answer that. So don't mistake it. NC, how you doing? Says our FBA eyes are opening. That you ain't lying about that. Awakening. Dirty Laundry Media. How you doing? Says Maxine Waters for sure. And where has she been? Has anybody seen Maxine? For sure.
I think they're doing to Maxine what they did to Joe Biden. They're kind of like ghost shadowing her in certain spots because she's not weakened at Bernie's. She's weakened at Bernie's. Situation.
Yeah, it says for sure promise to get reparations if they got to the White House in 2020 and a majority in Congress. She lied. Well, she said that even when she
in 1993 when she initially won her seat, she said that's what she was going to Washington to do. That was in 1993.
Right. Terry, he says, hey, the Democrats aren't our friends neither. I mean, Republicans nor Democrats are our friends. So don't mistake me in thinking that's what I said. I know you did, but I'm just saying. Lady Diana, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else has come on here. Extreme X, I saw you, but he says, well, we'll never get anything done. We have too many scared Negroes like Mr. Mack. Yeah, Mr. Mack, he actually secretly loves me, but he won't admit it. He just can't bear to tear himself away from me. He was like really staunch during the election season, and then I blocked him on Facebook. Then I guess he came over here and then he was kind of lurking in the shadows, but then he had the nerve to come out and let me know that he still loves me. So I guess.
Well, hey, when you got your own personal stalker, what shows you still got it. I guess women are still in their prime, in their 50s.
You better believe it. 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Okay. Big word. I'm not going to entertain you either. Let's see here. Let's see. Who else came on here that I did not see? Sister Charlie, what's going on with you? All right, 48 TCO, he says 18th congressional district seat of Texas is up for a special election. He says special seat, is that what that is? It says 2025 campaign. I'm trying to make a move in my city. Well, come on now, let us know so we can support you.
Yeah, and Texas is so pivotal. It's the third, I think, largest electoral college, especially if you're in your own party. But where's Jasmine Crockett? It's amazing. And did you guys hear the last interview I saw of Jasmine Crockett? She gave up the ghost. She had said that the donors have already picked the next nominee for the Democratic Party. Where's the democracy? You know, but you guys haven't voted. We haven't voted, but she said they've already picked the nominee. It won't be a person of color, and it won't be a woman. So let's see if she's right. And let's see, you know, God willing, and God, you know, you might not like her, but I don't want any bad thing to happen to her. When you start exposing the Boule and the Illuminati and these people that run this world, bad things seem to happen. So we haven't heard from Jasmine. So hopefully everything is okay.
Yeah, she's still around. I saw her talking the other day. I didn't listen. I just scrolled past it. But yeah, you talked about when she was somewhere on a podcast, and she said that DNC wants to elect a safe white boy, right? And basically she was saying that they're not comfortable with a woman or a black woman or things like that. But, you know, it's like, okay, you were all right when they elected the safe white boy Biden, you know, so knock it off, Jazzy Jazz. Let's see who else. Chenard, I hope I said that right, says no surprise here. Black Democrats are more anti-black than anti-black white supremacists. You know what? You might be on to something. If not, they're just as, I don't know if more, but just as. And it feels a little different coming from them because it's like, damn, out of all the people y'all supposed to be, but see, we really learned our lesson when Barack Obama got in office and, you know, ignored black people as if we were invisible, right? He rarely even talked about us, did anything at all. He said something about Trayvon Martin. If he had a son, he'd be concerned. But, you know, I would say that was really about the gist of his conversations with black people. And when he left office, he admitted, yeah, I really couldn't do nothing for y'all because I didn't want to piss off everybody else. So I just think it feels differently when it comes from them. Let's see. Facts, not feelings. Says Democrats put money in illegal pockets, Ukrainian pockets, Afghans, apartheid state pockets, and now the Boers pockets, and nothing for blacks. Yeah, you know. And then
where do they find all this money, Demetra? Where are they finding all this money? But when it comes to us, there's no resources. But anybody else, they just come up with the money.
Right. Ricky, how you doing? He says, all while President Trump was campaigning, the Dems push fascist Hitler hate and neo-Nazism. Now that he's president, all media platforms are flooding with some newly fueled racist craze all over the country. If Joe Biden or Kamala Harris would have won, our social media timelines and mainstream media outlets would be stuffing our timelines and packing our televisions with LGBT programs, advertisement, propaganda, and uncensored alternative lifestyle commercials. And I totally agree with you. And I would even go a step further to say that there would be a lot of censorship. Because if you think about it now, the internet or social media, I should say, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, X, I don't really like going on there much. Even TikTok, it seems to be a little bit just unbridled, more so than when the Democrats were in office, because they were on record with saying that there needs to be some censorship, right? Because people are just kind of saying what they want to say. And then in regards to Black Americans, they were always going on along with, oh, there's all this misinformation going on. Black people are getting all this misinformation. Of course, you know, they were talking about us, right? But of course, with Trump and the Republicans, they talked about there needs to be a little bit more free speech, even though we don't really see that as much. I don't know if y'all saw former FBI secretary, I guess is what he is, the head of the FBI, James Comey. The Secret Service went and, because he was on a beach, a vacation somewhere, and he put some seashells and with the numbers 8647. Of course, Trump and the Republicans and MAGA ran off the plug, saying, oh, he's talking about assassinating Trump and this, that, and the other. And I saw this other guy who's a big-time Democrat. They went and, because he said 8647, and he says the Secret Service came to him and says, listen, we know there's not much to it, but the government, I guess, told us we had to come see about you. But if you know anything about 86 is a term for throwing something away. So the guy said, I was just basically saying, get rid of Trump, not to, take him out of here. But, they're really building that up. So as much as Trump and them said that they were for freedom of speech, it doesn't appear that they really are. I'm just going to put it out there like that. So, Ricky, you're right. Anyway, Brother Reggie says, Miss Ratchet better stay quiet before her white godfather, George Soros, cuts her funding. Right? And Bill Gates, is that you, Bill? Anyway, how you doing, Sister Demetria? I would love for you to write a cookbook or do a channel or do a video on what you eat with herbs you take, because you always look healthy and been looking that way for years. I could do something like that. I actually entertained it. I don't know how exciting you guys would be about doing that. I'll tell you what, I am 54 years old. I think a lot of it is genetics. Yes. And it's contrary to what Donovan says, I don't sleep a lot at all. I'm getting my sleep more so. Well, it's genetics. My mom, when she passed away, RIP to her at 67, on her deathbed, the day before she died, the hospice nurse says, wow, she has a really young face. So I kind of get it from my mom, try to mind my business, and I try to drink a lot of water, and I eat okay. But thank you. I'll consider that.
It's nothing but genetics. And I will say that, and I will say it. And I'm not saying that because, we've been friends all the year. When I first saw Demetra's mom, I walked in the room and I was like, damn. Guys, you ever walk in and you see somebody that's that beautiful that you just got like pause? That's how Demetra's mom is. So the features, and even as she got older, she still maintained her look. So, and then if you look at Demetra, it's a poor Abrin, the novelist version.
I'll take
look
that.
Just like her mom. She looks just like her mom.
I will take that. So I'm gonna skip down American Dad Reviews. How you doing? Says Joan Skamala are pro censorship. Oh, you better believe it. Hillary was talking about it. They were all talking about it. And if you think about it, just think about when Biden was in office, social media operated a lot different. You saw people's pages. African Stream was one of them. They were major, and they got a whole page taken down on Facebook and Instagram, because they said that they were supporting, I think, Russia and all this other stuff. They're like, there's absolutely no evidence. So they were targeting different people's platforms. You don't really hear about that as much now. So Turu, how you doing? He says, I agree with Demetria and Donovan, but it is dangerous for us as citizens to not vote at all. I get maybe the divestment from both parties and starting our own political party or parties got to vote. I'll give you that. You should vote at death, especially on the state and local levels, because that affects you more. Federal level, yeah, you should have a say so, but what are you actually having to say so over? Why are you going to continue to vote for parties that do nothing for you? Both parties, as I did a story, I think it was yesterday, they both, in a way, give reparations to everybody but us. We just saw the Trump administration, they gave a form of reparations to the Afrikaners. We've seen the Biden administration, they gave reparations in a sense to immigrants coming over here and everybody else. Everybody's getting reparations, but Black people, Black Americans, I should say, that are descendants of slavery, we're not getting a dime. But everybody else is getting all there is to get. So I don't know. We should vote, but then we should vote for our interests, right? Let's see here. Black Flower, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Facts Not Phyllis says, did anyone hear them say they were going to deport the Boers to get back at Trump because they are anti-Black racists? I was waiting for Crockett and others to talk about this, but she is silent. No, they don't never say anything regarding Black people at all. They might a little bit here, but nothing major. They're going to die on the heel of everybody else. Let's see who else came on here. Black Dub, how you doing? He said, wannabe gangster. It says, I don't like Biden or Trump, but Demetria does seem to pander to Trump. And I'll pander to your mama, too. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it amazes me that these clowns come on here and, and we love you clowns that come on here and troll and stuff. Wolfman's friend says reparations are idiotic. So when your parents pass away, your loved one passes away, insurance is a form of reparations. You're being compensated for your loss. So obviously, since they're idiotic and you probably have insurance, you're idiotic too. Just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm going to save my breath. Sunlight, yes, I saw that and actually did a story. I'm waiting for it to be edited. about the Marathon Burger, which was the brainchild of the late great Nipsey Hussle, his brother Black Sam as well, and he is running it. I did see that Karen Bass was in there, but this is the rub, Sunlight. You know what the rub is? This is what the video that I'm talking about is not out yet, but it will be out on Emancipation Media. But the LAPD, they set up shop outside of Marathon Burger, and they harass people going in there. They harass the workers, and everybody have them hemmed up in handcuffs, never really arresting anybody. They're just there harassing people, right? LAPD is doing this right now. Of course, we know the story with Nipsey, and potentially that's why he's not here, because he was trying to buy Slauson and build it up, you know, for the Black community and things like that. But here's the rub, Sunlight. The LAPD work for Karen Bass. She is the mayor. She essentially is their boss. But yet she knows, and I'm sure she does, that her employees are doing that to people going in and out of Marathon Burger. But she don't say nothing. But like you said, it was a PR stunt, her going there acting like she flipping burgers, because the thing is, celebrities will go in there and, you know, serve people, flip burgers and do the fries and all that other stuff. But she up in there and it's like, girl, if you don't knock it off, if you really cared about Marathon Burger and you really want to see it do well, tell your employees to beat it. Go to Dunkin' Donuts or wherever and go and sit down somewhere, because they're wasting taxpayers' money, parking literally in the middle of the street, harassing people going in there. Those are her employees.
Yeah, and you guys got to realize, a lot of people, you know, they still have the idea of Los Angeles as a big Black area. It isn't that no more. LA is mostly Hispanic now, you know, City of Angels, whatever the deal is. And the police department is mostly Hispanic. So again, she was married to a Hispanic man, Karen Bass. That is who she caters to. As a matter of fact, as the mayor of Los Angeles, she has done a lot of proponents in regard, a lot of things in regards to Hispanic neighborhoods and giving them dollars and grants to help build their neighborhoods and build their businesses. Hasn't done much for the Black community, because there isn't really a lot of Black people that can afford to live here anymore. And by the way, a lot of these Hispanic businesses here on the West Coast, and I'm not talking just California, Arizona, New Mexico, they are finding that it is a front of money laundering for the cartels in Mexico. Ask yourself, how does somebody who comes here illegally have the money to start a business and open a business that quickly?
Absolutely. American Dad Reviews. I do see your comments. She says, with all the money in the Black community, why don't we have our own app that's free of censorship? We do. It's called AfricanDiasporaNews.org, AfricanDiasporaNews.org. It is created by, obviously, African Diaspora News Channel, brainchild of Brother Philip Scott. He is on there Monday through Friday. After he does the live stream on YouTube, he goes over and give y'all something that he can't say on the apps that we are censored, right? So there is an app for us. Check it out, AfricanDiasporaNews.org. That is an app for us, by us. So I'm glad that you brought that up. But the other thing is, a lot of people won't go, right? They want to stay on these apps, and they complain about what the man won't let us say. Jersey Rick, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else came on here. Hot Sauce. I ain't going to read your comment either. Frank, long time no see. He says, I knew Wes Moore was a snake. Laugh out loud how Baltimore looked. Yeah, but The Wire. Let's see here. Daryl, how you doing? Says, Boers are big investors in Acre Trader. I heard about that. He says, so is J.D. Vance. Heard about that too. And multiple Democrats. Boer investors own a lot of farmland under Acre Trader in America. Heard about that as well. Let's see here. Stormy Weather says they're their own gang there. They are their own gang members. Okay. Ali says, isn't part of California like Wild Wild West now? Part of it. A lot of it.
Oakland was destroyed, literally. San Francisco basically was destroyed.
Yeah. And John Lavelle, how you doing? Says a Christian terrorist filled with the Holy Spirit has attacked the town of Palm Springs. Yes, I heard about that. Was it an explosion or something like that took place in Palm Springs? So I did hear about that. There's a lot going on, which is why I'm
sounds like a black op to me. Operation Mockingbird sounds like a black op to me. Operation Mockingbird, to get people to feel a certain way about a certain event and a certain thing. Because isn't it funny, these assassination attempts and now this bombing, the so-called alleged perpetrator ends up dead. and it's a lone perpetrator. Sounds like a black ops to me.
I don't know what it is, but that is why I'm compelled to stay in the house more and more. There's a lot of people who are just unhinged everywhere, right? I knew that was you. Says these performance artists, example, Democrats are insufferable. Yes, and we ain't buying it. Yes, Simo, how you doing? Says Karen Bass is crap. Yeah, tell your employees to leave them alone, right? Mars, how you doing? Facts Not Feeling says, when I first saw Demetria, I was like, damn, oh, really? Says, if we were back in the year, damn, 4000 BC, I say, you my wife now. Throw her over my shoulder, take her home to my kitchen and go take down buffalo for her to cook. And you know what? I would do it too. You don't have to get a small buffalo. Not big buffalo, just a small one. Sunlight says, Demetria and Donovan, oh my God, what's wrong with Angelinos? However, people in the comments were complaining about the lack of black employees at Marathon Burgers. Yeah, well, I saw that too, but I think if you think about the demographics of Los Angeles, yeah, it's more Hispanics than anything. But I agree with you. There should be all black, but I don't know why there's not. But I did see that as well, so I will concede that. Let's see here. As Eddie says, the Boers are not the 5 million green card beneficiaries. Yeah, $5. Yeah, because Trump was saying that he would sell green cards, gold cards rather, for $5 million to people who wanted to come over here. But as a brother named Shahid Bolson said, he said, and I think he's actually a white man, but it seems like he's a brother the way he speaks. He says, why not just ask Black Americans to sell their membership, their citizenship for $5 million if you want to give away money, But he said, basically Trump is with the stuff. Frank says the gatekeepers keep our situation in these cities this way. Yep, on purpose to keep us hopeful, right? Zip, zoom. How you doing? Says, side note, Biden was just diagnosed with cancer. Yes, prostate cancer. Nikki Smith, how you doing? Says we are not never going to get it. So you saying we're never going to get reparations? It's not if, it's when. Let's see. Nikki P, how you doing? Says these immigrants, that's what I'm gonna say, must go. They get in these political positions and support immigrants, undermining FBA Freeman's interest in lineage fight for reparative justice. Yeah, they do, because they won't get it, so they don't want us to have it as well. And yeah, they get in these positions, CBC, Congressional Black Caucus, and these other positions, and then feel like, well, we need to dictate differently, because we've heard them having a conversation that, well, what about us? We're black. Do we get reparations? It's like you get it from where you came from, but you didn't have no blood, sweat, and tears in the soil from your ancestors over here, so you can't get it from here. And so I think too, like you said, that's why they do a lot of sabotaging, because, well, what does that got to do with us, and how we won't want to see them get anything more than we get, right? So there's a lot of jealousy with that. So that's why, as we as Black Americans also need to think about, as I hear a lot of people say, where your people from? Are they Black American? Or are they from somewhere else? Or even if their people is from somewhere else, they were born here, of course, they're going to be raised with that ideology more than likely. Mr. Roberts.
Well, we do know Demetria has roots in Africa herself. As we were in South Africa, and we saw a young lady. What was her name? Miss Africa? What was her name?
Mama Zulu.
Mama Zulu. Yes, she had the spirit of Demetria's mom a little bit.
Yeah, she reminded me of my mom. She really did. Beautiful. Just she got all our money. She did.
Wait, tell that story, because at first we thought she was like a street vendor, and she's like, no, I have a shop, right? She took us for everything.
We was on the street. It's, they have all these vendors and stuff, and she had some stuff. We didn't really see much. She goes, wait, I'm paraphrasing, there's more. So she took us up to her shop, and it's a big old shop, and there was things here and there. She left with all the money, okay? All the money. Mama Zulu had all the money. And Sherman, you says this is America's biggest sin, not giving our Black reparations, but it's going to happen. Come on now. It says, look at the weather and what's going on in Africa. The winds of change is prophecy. Let me remind y'all again. If you have not, you can actually listen to the audiobook of this on YouTube, The Fall of America. There's an audiobook of it. It's about 6 hours long. Of course, I've read it. I'm actually in the process of just listening to it again on YouTube because you can never get enough of this book, right? And as the more I listen to it and stuff, I'm like, yeah, we're seeing all this stuff unfold. It's almost like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote the book today, you know. Um, let's see. Brother Reddy says buffalo thigh meat sounds like never-ending bubble guts. You ain't lying. Jeanette says Trump just allowed El Chapo's factory enter the U.S. for real, and so he'll probably end up letting him go, right? I don't know.
Hey,
Buckhorse.
it's about business. And the thing is, I kind of agree with Trump. You can't be mad at the same person for the whole time of your life. Maybe some people can do it, but it's really bad business. Like I said, when I went to Vietnam and I saw all the American corporations that we don't hear about here in the United States, all we look is the Rambo movies and the Vietnam movies about, our sacrifices over there, not knowing major corporations are sitting there in Vietnam and they are funding the rebuilding of that country, and they're doing well, but we don't hear about it. But it's business. You can't move forward villainizing. You got to move forward sooner or later. It just doesn't work. So I kind of agree with them. For a while you might be mad at a certain group of people, but you got to get over that. For us to have sanctions on Cuba for over 60 years, it makes no sense because most of the people that had a beef with Cuba are gone. It just doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. So I'm going to answer some of these questions. We got about 10 minutes left. Facts Not Feelings. It says, was I the only one toasting to that Nottoway plantation house fire? The ancestors sent me a sign to raise a glass. Here, I'm going to raise it right with you. If you see my profile pictures on Facebook and Instagram, you will see that I have changed it to the Nottoway plantation house in all its glory. Yes, it is lit up. And I have made that my profile picture. Yes. So for those of you guys who are like, what are you talking about? There was a plantation which was considered to be one of the last standing largest antebellum plantations. It's still left in America, and it was used for weddings and tours and things like that. It was purchased by an attorney. I guess he was wealthy or whatever still he is, I guess. And of course, he said that tourists from all over the world would come and learn of the history and just partake of the richness of the plantation, right? Well, of course, the other day, and nobody really knows how, but some people are speculating that it was burnt down to the ground, completely destroyed. Of course, you guys saw people taking a copious amount of pictures in front of it, drinking and pouring liquor out for the ancestors and all kind of stuff. And I'm not mad that it's gone because y'all using the plantation. And come on, we don't need to talk about the history of a plantation. We know rather what happened on plantations. That's where our ancestors were. In fact, it was built in 1859. And it housed 155. And when I say house, I say that loosely, 155 slaves, because they didn't live in a big house. They lived in a shack that wouldn't even be fitting for an animal. And so with that, the plantation is burnt down. And the lawyer's like, oh my God, I don't know if I'll be able to rebuild. It's like, well, I mean, you could try, but good luck. But
they could rebuild. It won't be, it'll be newer, but you could duplicate it.
Yeah, but it's like, why would you want to? I mean, clearly the sentiment is people didn't want that. You got people having weddings and different things there. You're celebrating on grounds where horrible things happen to Black people. Why are you celebrating there? And of course, I don't know if you guys also heard that the other day, another white man came up missing in Lake Lanier in Georgia. Now, if I didn't say that plantation is in White Castle, Louisiana, White Castle of all places. So I bring up Lake Lanier and all that to say, listen, anybody who knows the history of Lake Lanier, you know what happened. There's a whole town underneath the lake, a Black town that was destroyed and flooded and a whole host of other things. And you people keep on having your heyday there. And it's like, ancestors are not pleased.
And let's just keep it real. I'm from Louisiana, and I'm going to tell you, my hometown, they have historic plantations and stuff that are still up if you still want to visit that type of stuff. I mean, if you're from the South, a lot of us are from the South. I mean, come on, y'all. We ain't missing. You guys know there's that neighborhood that had them old shacks that have been there since Jim Crow and all that other stuff, and you ain't missing none of that. So, again, I'm with you, Demetria. It's like, okay, and, moving on.
Donnie says, I once considered myself a Pan-Africanist, but now I'm reconsidering with great concern, or perhaps we think too differently from Blacks. in other countries. Yeah, I consider myself to be a Pan-Africanist too. I've had to rethink some things, although I do believe in Black unity eventually all over the earth. But as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has told us, Black Americans, we have to, get our stuff together. Not saying that we don't care about our fellow Black people all over the earth, but we got to work on our stuff first. And that's just true for everybody, right? Everybody works on self. And then, once we're done with that, which at this point will be a long time, then we could consider maybe joining with each other. But I definitely am not one that's going to go back and forth with Black people in other places. That's just not my thing. I think it's counterproductive. H. McDaniel, how you doing? Said Demetra and Donovan, please be careful when you go to Ohio next weekend. I love outdoor concerts, but I'm leery of big crowds, especially others coming in. Keep your heads on swivel. Yes, I have thought about that. Again, Honorable Elijah Muhammad has told us, to be careful in big crowds, especially big crowds with them. Hopefully there's security and things like that. I know Ohio is very turned up racially and things like that. So I have thought about that, but I believe that we will be in good hands. But yeah, say a prayer for us at the very least. Thank you for that. Rhonda, how you doing? Says, see where the largest plantation house. Yep, and we saw that in Louisiana. And somebody brought up, and where'd that comment go about the ship, the Mexican sailor ship rather, that ran into a bridge in Brooklyn, killing 2 of the people that were on it. I don't even know what they were doing. It was some celebration. The ship was all lit up, and there were people standing all up on the rafters of the ship and things. And for whatever reason, it sounds like they said that it lost power, from what I heard. It ran into the Brooklyn Bridge. It's a horrible thing, people to lose their life. And people were going over the bridge. Like, it didn't look like it fell down or anything like that, but it's very creepy. Of course, there's a lot of people coming with the silliness. Oh, why were they over here? And look at, they can't. It's just like, but yeah, I did see it. I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but yes. Michelle says Trump gave 17 cartel members citizenship. I don't agree with it. Trump can be brought just like any other politician.
Absolutely. And then he's older, so he doesn't give a damn. All the baby boomers, all they want, and I'm getting this from Brother Phil Scott, if you've been watching the app, and he says this all the time, and it's true. They just want to go to the upper room in peace. Their last days, they just want to party and do what they got to do and be peaceful, as they know they're getting ready to check out of here. So they don't give a damn. They really don't.
Yeah. Hey, Raven says states where Black grassroots people are serious about Black cash reparations need to connect and move as one, which makes the fight stronger and will gather momentum for Black people who are on the fence. Yep.
Well, Raven, what do you think about us, withholding our money and stop frivolously spending our money upholding these corporations? If we would do that for a week, it would be devastating.
Yeah, NC rather. He says Jacob Soul Food in Los Angeles had all Black pork. Excuse Demetra for Nipsey's higher staff. I'm not saying I agree with it. I mean, I saw it. I don't agree with it. In fact, I'm one of those people, and y'all can say what y'all want to say about me. I don't eat at Black-owned restaurants that have a majority of other people working there. If I don't see a majority of our people working there, I won't eat there. There's a lot of places here in Houston that have Black restaurants that have that situation. I'm like, I'm not going to eat there no more, because Black owned means Black owned. And if you know it, and I listen, MC, I know what Nipsey's motto was what? All money in. So you can't have all money in if some of the money is going to other communities. So listen, you preach it to the choir on that one. I don't know what Black Sam, that's his brother's, Nipsey's brother, they were thick as thieves and everything they did. I don't know what the motivation is. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is, because we see other groups of people, other races of people, they don't hire us. I don't care. I'm from Southern California, and I've seen Hispanic grocery stores, and I've never seen one Black person there. I rarely even see any white people there, right? Now, I will tell you, being here in Houston, I went to a Nigerian market once with my daughter, and I saw all Hispanics working there, and their company picture, they had it plastered on the wall. I guess was the Nigerian owners and all Hispanic workers. I said, wow, that's crazy. But then it's not. So listen, I get it. I'm not making excuses at all.
Yeah. Why do you guys think the migrants under the Democratic regime was allowed to come in here? You don't think the Republicans weren't down with that either? Both of the parties are owned by corporations. So when you got illegal migrants here, guess what? You don't have to pay them the federal minimum wage. You can pay them whatever you want. these corporations, this is what they wanted. They wanted these people, because let's just face it, people got upset at the black jobs, right? What was the black jobs when we were coming up, Demetra? Back in the day, you go to McDonald's, your fast food and stuff. That's where you really got your first job, right? Didn't pay much, but it was something, right? Some of us that worked for the school district, what was some of the first jobs black people got in the school district? Janitor. You started at those jobs that predominantly black people occupied. So now what do they do? They flooded the market with these people that are going to take those jobs, which takes food and money out of your family. How you going to work now? Black people are the most homeless in the United States. How do you explain that? I'll tell you how you explain it. When you open the floodgates and let the migrants in. And now, if you're watching YouTube, all you see on YouTube all day is black women, and I'm just saying black women because women like to get on the thing and talk their business. I'm very sure of a lot of black men talking about they can't make rent, they're scamming checks, doing whatever they need to do to survive because they are not making the money that they're supposed to, because they're being undercut by another group of people that have come into the country. So whenever I see black people advocating for illegal immigration, that's a person that's a traitor to their race.
Yeah. In fact, I feel that I don't go into stores where they don't hire black people. Yeah. I'll check it out once if I'm there. There's a spot here called the Breakfast Club. It is wildly popular. I never been before until my sister, she came down and she heard about it and she's like, let's go. So we stood in line for about half an hour or so because it's that busy. Got there super early or whatever. Got in there, nothing but Hispanic staff. There was some black, but mostly Hispanic. They even had an employee of the month sign up with a Hispanic. I said, I couldn't even tell you how the food tastes, because I was just so distracted by that. I'm one of those people, when I see stuff like that, I just like, I could have had a V8 for all I know.
Yeah, and real quick, Allie Davis says the Democrats were flooding illegals in the FBA communities to drown us out. That's why delineation was the best thing ever. But here's another thing. We always talk about gentrification in the physical aspect of neighborhoods. If you guys have been following me at my city council meetings, we have been gentrified politically. When you let these people start getting on the city council, right here in LA, right here in my neighborhood, you guys please tune into my Facebook, shameless plug, tune into my Facebook page. Tuesday, I'm going to city council. They had a girl. She was DACA, and they tried to put her on the planning commission. You don't even have a status. You're in a limbo status, and they intentionally tried to put a non-American on the planning commission. This is what they do. And then I found that her application, she didn't check the proper box before you sign it that gives the city the authorization to do a background check. So somebody in the HR office should be fired, because that would have given, just think about the litigation the city would have been in if this girl's vote had gone in a direction it shouldn't have gone, and that developer came back and said, hey, she's not illegal. It wasn't a legal vote. I didn't get my project. This guy did. It would have been a horrific mess. But when we talk about gentrification, it's not just a physical aspect of a neighborhood. It's a physical aspect of politics. They take our voice away politically. And that's where your resources go, to their community and not our community. And it's our fault, because you don't see us at these city council meetings fighting for the limited resources that are available.
Yeah, I put your Facebook in the chat so they'll know how to find you. Alice said Donovan, CNN, and MSCM give them platforms to push that Donovan. Absolutely. And Arneva, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. It says, is the turkey leg hut? Is the turkey leg hut still in business, Demetra? Let me put this up here. It says, I heard they were in trouble. In trouble? That's to say it lightly. No, they're not in business. They closed several months ago, sometime last year, due to, it sounds like it started off with a whole bunch of health code violations. They had like 33 of them. But then they couldn't get it together, from what I understand. I'm paraphrasing here. Some financial issues. The husband and wife, they had split up and they were going at each other's throats. And the husband went off and did the oyster hut some damn where. And then they just gaffled him up not too long ago behind, kabooming somebody else's restaurant. And now that person was said to be, I guess they were a partner with Turkey Leg Hut, and then they left, moved down the street or something. And then the owner, the guy, Lynn, boom, allegedly to that restaurant. And he has been indicted federally, no bond, for that and some other stuff. And they also said that he was slanging some nickel bags of funk up out the Turkey Leg Hut as well. So no, Turkey Leg Hut is not still there. And so it's sad actually, because it was a staple there, but the residents there were complaining about the smoke because they're smoking turkey legs up out of there and some other stuff allegedly. Anyway, hey Aaron, how you doing? Gerald Jones, what's going on with you? Lovely, how you doing? Says Dimitri Donovan. Hello. We need a legal document for those who are Black talking greasy against reparations. Let them exempt themselves, so when we get it, they get nada, nothing. Stand on it. They're gonna be walking backwards when that happens. Well, what I meant was, LDR, KR, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. King Shaw, what's going on? She says, I wish that Democrat Party would just tell us they don't support reparations. All of them need to be upfront with FBAs. Now, if they did that, then we wouldn't show up for them. They got to lie to us. You lie to them, keep them hopeful and changeful, hope and change, and, keep hope alive, all that kind of stuff. They got to tell us that stuff so we could be hopeful and we could show up and hope that they're going to do something for it. That's what Obama meant when he said hope and change. He meant hope. I'm going to change my mind about doing something for y'all Black behinds.
with me signing this civil rights bill, I'm going to keep those ninjas voting Democrat for the next 500 years. And he signed it. And he didn't want to sign that civil rights bill, but he had to, because overwhelmingly the Republicans voted for it 100%, and the moderate Democrats had voted for it. But the Dixiecrats, which Joe Biden was a member and is still a member, was against it. So he had to do it. And guess what? We got a little symbolism that white women benefited from the most. And here we are. We are still blindfolded. The Democratic Party is going to do something for us. And even Martin Luther King, in his last days, realized he led his people into a burning building.
Yep. Yeah, they were smoking something other than turkey legs from what they say, right? Jeff, how you doing? Says Black immigrants are U.S. corporate citizens. They dare not bite the hand that feeds them Black Americans wealth. You said a word with that one. Brother Reggie says a nickel bag of funk. Shout out to the Diggable Planners. You ain't lying. Yes, indeed. Eric the Great, how you doing? Says good winery, play music to the grapes so they grow optimally. Unfortunately, modern music will destroy vineyards just like society. You know what? Think you said a word with that one. Okay. No reparations, no vote. How you doing? Let's see. Got to the bottom. Catherine, how you doing? Says, oh, hello, I'm late. Yes, we're finna get out of here. Joanne says, no matter what your business is or what you call it, white supremacy will definitely, with their vampirical, like a vampire nature, make a profit off of it because they are true lazy people on the planet. They don't work. But they sure didn't work when our ancestors was on those plantations, right? Catherine says, burning building. How about plantation that burned down? Yep, we talked about that as well. Yep, Joe Biden has prostate cancer. King Shaw says, at least Wes Moore was upfront and honest about it.
Wait. I don't mean to cut you off. Everybody's blasting. Look, Joe Biden's got prostate cancer. That's probably why. How do y'all know that? They've lied to you guys so damn much that now, he's got prostate cancer. So we're supposed to give him a pass? I don't believe he's got prostate cancer. I don't. The man is 80-something years old, and the man is mentally gone. He's been mentally gone, and they're putting this out to soften his legacy so people can feel sorry for him or whatever. How do you guys know that? Just because they put this out, I'm not falling for it. I'm sorry, because it's sympathy for Joe Biden. No, go cry for yourself. I got to cry for my people. You go cry for yourself.
I don't know if he's got prostate cancer or not. I know it is a thing with men when they get older that prostate cancer is more prevalent. I don't know if he's got prostate cancer or not. I don't care. about what he has done necessarily to the point of me wishing bad on him or anything like that. Because I had a mother who passed of cancer. And regardless if he has it or not, it's not something that you want to watch anybody go through. I would hope for his sake that he is not lying, but if he is lying or not, it doesn't do anything for any of us, even though they now are saying Jake Trapper, I don't know how he would know, but I guess he does, that Biden is definitely had something going on. I mean, we already knew that, but I'm never going to get to the point to where I say, I'm just going to leave it at that. But whether he got it or not.
No, I'm not wishing the man any ill feel. What I'm saying is, with all the lying that the Democrats have done at this point, I can't take anything that they say seriously. I just can't at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the headline. I didn't think twice of it. I didn't think enough of it to say, well, that's what he did. Or I didn't. I just said, because my brother has prostate cancer. So that's kind of what I thought about. I thought about my own brother who has prostate cancer. I never thought, well, good on Biden. That I didn't even think that. That's kind of how I am lately when it comes to a lot of things. I see it. I'm like, and I just keep scrolling, right?
Yeah, Sylvia says, unless Biden was diagnosed after he left office, his physician said he was fine in the office. Exactly. When he was in office, he got a physical. Oh, he's great. He's fine. He's this, he's that. And maybe they just found it. God grace to him. But the point is, it's just, I can't believe anything these Democrats say anymore. And that's not my fault. That's their fault.
Yeah, like I said, it's not for me to believe or not believe. I just never try to get in the habit of, I don't know if returning evil for evil is the right analogy that I'm looking for. I always say, there, but for the grace of God, there go I. So if a man got cancer, he got cancer. If he don't, he don't. That's his lie. He's got to live with. Joe Biden is not in office anymore. If they want to tell that lie, it doesn't do anything for us, whether he has it or not. Joe Biden in the last few years or whatever of his life will still be better off probably than most of us for the rest of our lives, right? So, hey, one who cares, how you doing? Al, how you doing? He says, my dad died of prostate cancer, 56. I still can't figure out how. Well, my brother's 55 and he was diagnosed when he was like 53, so it happens. And let's see here. Spider-Man, he says, sir, I had a prostate removed, some grace. So hope that you're doing okay. Silvio, he says, unless Biden was dying. Okay, you read that already. Let's see here. Raven, he says, the Panda Express should just put a sombrero on the panda bear. The majority of people are Hispanics who work here. And Popeye's chicken too, right?
There is nothing worse than going to a Popeye's chicken and you see nothing but Hispanic and Asian crew.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I guess. And I haven't eaten at Popeye's chicken. I can't tell you the last time I've eaten at Popeye's, Churches, or any of that. That's not feeling says I'm more concerned about for all the black men who were sent to jail by his crime bill who had prostate cancer and were not able to get property treatment and die from it. I feel sympathy for those guys. Can I say this to y'all? Because I try not to, for me personally, and maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm not. I've been told that I don't have compassion. I do. I'm a very compassionate person. I just don't. I don't know. But I don't even know why I was saying that. Old age, I guess. But I try not to get into the struggle Olympics. And what I mean by that is, if a person says that they got prostate cancer and we don't like them, we don't always have to tie that to, well, what about black people? You know what I mean? Because I had a friend long time ago. I forget what it was, but somebody white had died or whatever. And they announced it on the news. It's just, well, they don't say nothing about when black people die. I said, you really want to compare that to black people? You know what I mean? Like, why does that have to be a comparison? So I'm not saying that Joe Biden ain't full of mess. I'm not saying he's not. Listen, check my resume on Joe Biden, okay? But what I'm saying is we don't always have to be that guy or that girl. Well, he got, prostate cancer. What about our people? They don't even swim in the same river. I don't think. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this question then, since we're doing this comparative thing, because I'm going to call you on the carpet on this. You brought up Church's chicken. You brought up Popeye's chicken. But you didn't bring up your favorite, Pioneer chicken.
Man, Pioneer chicken, that's boy, I tell you. If you know, you know. You know, Southern
That
California.
crust was awesome.
Man, you got to get some Pioneer chicken on Sunday because you know your mom and them cook throughout the week, right? But Sundays when she didn't want to cook or whatever, or any time they bring that bucket of Pioneer's chicken, man, they had the pepper that went with it. I don't think they made chicken like that no more. Hey, Sammy, how you doing? Says Brother Phil made a profound statement. The Black Democrats can't do anything to help Black people and nothing to harm white people, only to read the script and do what they're told. Yeah, they got talking points. They all sound the same.
T. Delgado says she's never heard of Pioneer chicken. Oh my goodness, clutch my pearls.
Man, Pioneer chicken was just, I could almost taste it. This was in the 80s, okay? Y'all know they wasn't putting poison in the food back then.
Yeah, the late 70s, early 80s, yeah.
Curtis Lowe, how you doing? Says Black people are like bicycles. They only work with a chain. Al says, what's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? You can see one later and the other one you can see after a while. Street translation says, them damn Latinos don't make ish crispy like we need it. Fried hard, right? King Shaw says they took over McDonald's restaurant also.
Dimitri, I'm reading these comments. I think we just exposed our age because a lot of people haven't heard of it. And they're from California.
Duke, you say churches is the best.
This is the best when it's spiking hot. Once it gets cold, it's a wrap.
What, churches?
Yeah, churches. Once it gets cold.
I can't remember the last time I've even had churches. I've had it before, but I don't remember the last time. You know, for me, I'm just kind of scared to eat out. I am. Because I see a lot of stories. I'll just be scared to eat out.
Look, Al came to California. Al Jackson came to California, went to Winco, the best chicken on the planet. And it is, as of right now, Winco is the best.
Yeah, Winco do got some good chicken. It does. Complex Blackness. You remember Pioneer chicken, the man with the wagon. Yep, it was the big old logo on it. Tracy says, yep, never had Pioneer chicken. Emily says the food supply leaves much to be desired. We can't win. Yeah, it almost tastes like chemicals, right? Facts Like Philip says Biden has the best healthcare in the world. Lots of us don't have the same thing. Biden will be okay. That's what I'm saying. Yes, Brother Malcolm will be 100 years old he would have been 100 years old tomorrow. And as I always say, let's not talk Malcolm, walk Malcolm. If you really want to honor Malcolm's centennial birthday, do the things he was asking us to do. No more, talking about him. Oh, Malcolm this. And I'm not saying this about you, Al, but if you're not doing the things that he asked us to do, which he learned from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad via the Nation of Islam, then, I think you should just be quiet. That's just me. I can't tell you what to do, though. So anyway, let's see who else came on here that I did not see.
Yeah, out here in California now, you see a lot of El Pollo Locos and the Hispanic brand of chicken. A lot of, what is that? It's not fried. It's baked chicken and stuff like that.
Which chicken is that?
El Pollo Loco and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I like El Pollo Loco. It's the what do they call it? Flame broiled or whatever it is. Yeah. Tracy says Taco Bell here in Philly is ran by Asian Indians, now straight trash. Just talking about the food. Yeah, Sister Shirley, I'm afraid to eat out. I ain't gonna lie, because people, they ain't wrapped too tight nowadays, right? It's rare if I do. Joanne says, and if I do it somewhere where I feel like maybe they gonna be all right, I don't know. Asha, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else. Sharon says, I don't eat out anymore either. Studio, long time no see, says they put chemicals in the food now, especially in the hood. Yeah, of course, too, to make it more addicting, right? Star Child, how you doing? Says Church's Chicken is being brought out by East Asian Kamala people all over the country. Look into it. Yeah, I haven't been in the churches. I can't tell you the last time. Simo says Carpe Lounge in Denver was the best fried chicken I had still. I'm tell you right now, nobody fried chicken better than my mama. But my mama, man, her fried chicken was bar none. My daughter and one of my nephews, they're the only ones that have her recipe. So I guess I have to get one of them to make it. So let's see. I think I've seen everybody. Asha says Chicken Shack is pretty good. with the roasted potatoes. Yeah, I like roasted chicken as well. It's been a long time since I've had it. Buckhorse says Asians run a Taco Bell. Hot damn, hell yeah. They running it all, right? The street translation says the Latinos took over Hispanic Little Rock, Arkansas. I swear it's at least 1 million, and they buying up everything. Yep, they are practicing group economics, and that's what we need to be doing, right? They'll live, 20 of them into a house, take up all the parking space on the street in the neighborhood or whatever, and they buy up the neighborhood. They go work at Taco Bell and all these other jobs that we don't too much like to do. Not saying we should. They pull their money together, and yeah, they buy up the block. They do it not as much as the Asians, but they do it, right? VZ Fresh, he says, I'm here. He says, I'm not. It says here, I'm not. Call. The Hispanics have monopolized the fast food industry, and now they're in control. They are very disrespectful to us. They are. Rose, how you doing? Says Peruvian chicken is very good. I don't think I've ever had it. Don, he says, if Hispanics do hire darker skinned black, we can bet they hire them to sweep the parking lot, and more than likely the brother is homeless dealing with substance abuse. What? $1.25 per day? I don't know about all of that. Joanne says true Louisiana chicken is the best with flour, cornmeal, slow fried with a lid. Yeah, they have Louisiana chicken. Donovan, they still got that Louisiana chicken in Moreno Valley?
Yes, dying out. It is dying out because there's not enough black people to sustain it. It's been in Moreno Valley for 30 years.
Yeah, I remember that one too. It's not too far from your house. Herschel Heidel says, I remember when those jobs were for high school kids. You ain't lying. Now adults are doing it, and a lot of them because they have to, right? Anyway, Zoom says Demetra is very much on code, and yes, we should feel a way not seeing us in establishments that we patronize. Yeah, I just ain't gonna do it. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one. Now we're gonna get out of here, and we'll see y'all Tuesday. I might come before you tomorrow. I'm not quite sure, but for sure. And I will be traveling to Columbus, Ohio on Friday. And I'm going to have my daughter, if I can, right, live stream the event so that you guys can see us at the African Diaspora News Channel. I'm not sure who else will be on the stage. I've heard some names. I don't want to say them until it's confirmed that they will be there as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. I know it. So I will try my best to live stream it. Al says, I used to love that cartoon Super Chicken. He was on Bullwinkle Show. Yep.
You knew the job was dangerous when you took it, Fred.
Anyway, love y'all. We'll see y'all later. Peace.